Welcome to Washington. I'm Brit Hume. The first national intelligence estimate focused exclusively on dangers facing Americans at home says Al-Qaeda has not given up any of its desire to strike the U.S. again. But as to Al-Qaeda's capabilities to carry out another massive attack, well, that's a different matter. Chief Washington correspondent Jim Angle reports.
The NIE warned the U.S. homeland faces what it calls a persistent and evolving terrorist threat, largely from Al-Qaeda.
This threat is driven by undiminished intent to attack the United States homeland.
Director of National Intelligence Mike McConnell said terrorists have continued to adapt and improve, but he drew a distinction between Al-Qaeda's intent and its capabilities.
They have attempted to rebuild. It's significant rebuilding, but are they as capable as 2001? I don't think so. They are capable, they are planning, but they're not as resilient or as robust or as capable as they were in 2001.
He said, as has former CIA Director George Tenet, that the U.S. has disrupted numerous attacks against the homeland. Tenet put the number at 20. Though Al-Qaeda keeps failing, they also keep trying. But McConnell explained that unlike the smaller attacks in Europe, the intelligence community believes Al-Qaeda is determined to pull off something big in the U.S.
Mass casualties larger than 9/11. Their intent is mass casualties, and their intent is spectacular destruction. Spectacular destruction, something like a building falling.
The NIE pointed to Al-Qaeda's strengths. It still has its two top leaders, Osama bin Laden and Ayman al-Zawahiri, and has recruited new lieutenants to replace those killed or captured. In addition, Al-Qaeda has found a new safe haven in the frontier tribal areas of Pakistan, which he said it's using to terrorists to come to the U.S.
Those that speak the right language, that have the right skills, that have the right base, that they could come to the United States, fit into the population, and then use some of the training that they receive in the Pakistani area.
Training in explosives and in recruiting others to join them. The Musharraf government is now moving forces into that region to confront the terrorists, and officials said today Pakistan has lost some 80 soldiers in recent fighting. The situation in Iraq is also a factor. The NIE said Al-Qaeda will probably seek to leverage the contacts and capabilities of Al-Qaeda in Iraq, its most visible and capable affiliate, and the only one known to have expressed a desire to attack the homeland here in the U.S. McConnell said the coalition has Al-Qaeda in Iraq on its heels in many areas, but that it's still determined to raise the violence in order to inflict maximum loss of life, in part to influence the congressional debate here in the U.S.
They know what the debate on the Hill is. They know what's going on. So if they can raise the level of violence for a short period of time, they believe they'll achieve their objectives.
The NIE also warned that Al-Qaeda leadership has instructed its operatives to acquire chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear material. And George Tenet's recent book noted that Al-Qaeda even searched out a Muslim cleric who would issue a religious decree, a fatwa, to justify the use of weapons that could kill huge numbers of innocent civilians. Britt.
Jim, thank you. Democrats on Capitol Hill say the NIE is evidence the administration needs to get U.S. troops out of Iraq and focus on Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan and elsewhere. But at the White House, President Bush reinforced the message that while Al-Qaeda is still dangerous, it's not what it once was. White House correspondent Wendell Goler reports.
The president challenged claims that the National Intelligence estimate shows Al-Qaeda has gained strength from the war in Iraq.
Al-Qaeda is been a heck of a lot stronger today had we not stayed on the offense.
Spoke after talks with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who warned just yesterday a rapid U.S. withdrawal from Iraq could deepen the crisis there. But the NIE fueled both critics and opponents of the war.
Al-Qaeda has gotten stronger as a result of the policies of this administration, and they now are in Iraq where they were not in Iraq prior to the Iraq war.
The White House contends the report's warning that Al-Qaeda will try and use the contacts and abilities it has gained in Iraq to attack inside the U.S. shows the danger of not finishing the job in Iraq. Democrats contend the war is at best a distraction.
Al-Qaeda is stronger, so says the report. The president disagrees, but that's what the report says. Can't have it both ways.
The White House put on a full-court press to try and keep Democrats from capitalizing on the NIE, insisting it not be seen as a progress report on the war on terror,
The National Intelligence Estimate, again, is not a tactical document.
And denying the war in Iraq has played into al-Qaeda's hands.
So we should leave them, and we should not disturb our enemies anywhere in the world because they may use it for propaganda value? I don't think so.
And officials also denied al-Qaeda should have been further weakened before deposing Saddam Hussein.
Are you telling me it was impossible to smash them globally before we went into Iraq?
Yes.
The White House denies the tribal region on Pakistan's border with Afghanistan, and not Iraq, is now the central front in the war on terror, though the report says this is where al-Qaeda has found safe haven. And officials defend Pakistani President Musharraf's efforts to secure the area, noting the region's remoteness and antipathy toward any government makes it a perfect place for al-Qaeda to hide.
It's not as if they've hung out a shingle and there's a great big compound. These are people who, in fact, do their very best to remain concealed.
This is the 7th time the president has declassified the key findings of a national intelligence estimate. Democrats suspect he aimed to take some of the attention away from their effort to focus on the war in Iraq. Tony Snow says that's not the case. It's not clear it was successful, even if that was his goal. Brit?
Wendell, thank you. In Islamabad, Pakistan,